Hello and welcome to the second video in the training session for 3D Vermont. We're going to pick up where we left off. So we're going to start with just a little reminder. We have the image from Google Street View. So I'm going to rotate to another side of the building. And to get the image from Google Street View, you just click on the face, right click, go to Add Photo Texture. And that'll bring up a pop-up window, and sometimes you'll have to widen it up and then scroll to the actual view that you're looking for. So here's the side view. So I'm gonna click on that, and that'll get us to where we want to be. So from here you can zoom in a little bit, and then I'm gonna select region, move this into where we want, and then move the push pins so you can get this image onto the building the way you want it. And then once you have the push pins, you can click grab and it will throw that face onto the building where you have it. So now I'm going to go back to the side that we were working on, and we have 3 windows started that are pushed in 6 inches. 6 inches works really well for 3D printing. Even though there's other details on these windows, because we're printing in such small scale, adding these details can sometimes cause the prints to fail unless you have a liquid resin laser printer. If you're using a standard filament printer, I wouldn't recommend putting any more detail into the windows. So now that we look at this building, there's lots of sets of 3 windows. So rather than doing them all, we've got this nice group right here that's done well. I'm going to select all 3 windows. I'm going to click on the Move tool. And then once you get down here and I'm on the end point, I'm going to click Alt, which adds a little plus next to the Move tool. And then I can click and drag it over, and I'm going to throw it into the next set of windows. And now we have a new set. And I'm going to do the same thing. Hit Alt, because I've got 3 windows selected, and then click and drag it up to the top. And I'm going to keep doing this to fill in the rest of the windows. And you'll notice that these windows aren't exactly where they are in the picture, but remember, these pictures taken from Google Street View are skewed, and I trust the lines of the green, blue, and red lines of SketchUp. So you want to make sure that you're not just using the line tool and tracing around windows that are skewed. So I'm going to continue doing this and finish up the windows with Move tool, Alt, and get them, like this one's off, but I'm going to put them where they should be rather than where the image shows them. And you'll have enough experience of going to your building so you can see exactly where everything needs to be. And there we have all of our windows on this side of the building. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to work through entrances. Stairs can be a little bit tricky, so we're going to follow these steps. Sorry for the pun. I'm going to start by throwing a rectangle around the whole area, and this will allow us to work from here. I might actually have a little bit of an overlap here. You got to be careful that if you don't delete overlapped areas, then when you go to push-pull, it can mess it up. So I'm going to start with this bottom section of just the stairs. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool, starting at the height of the stairs, and then I'm also going to get the arm rail portion of the stairs drawn in. From here, we can push-pull it out, and you'll notice again, it looks like it's being push-pulled out wrong because the image was taken at an angle, but this is proper to way. And when we finish these up, you're going to be printing them. They're not going to be printing in color. So the images in these, if you take your own, they'll be easier to draw from because they'll be square on. But if you're using Google Street View, remember, you want the building to be as it actually is, not how the image looks. So from here, I'm actually going to push-pull this whole middle section out too, because I want to be able to see where I'm working a little easier. Now with the stairs, I'm going to just work with splitting everything in half, because it gives you a nice midpoint, and then you know everything's going to be equal. So if I keep splitting all of these in half, and I would say one more split in half, and you can zoom in to see where you're working. It finds the midpoint, keep it on the green axis, and then you can make all of the lines needed for all of your stairs. Just a reminder, if you have all black lines, if you want to see the parallel lines, you go to Window, Styles, click on Edit, and then down here, Color. If you have it all same, you'll notice they all turn black. But for doing buildings, I prefer by axis, because most of the time when you're working with a building, you're dealing with 90-degree angles. So you're going to want to see a lot of the red, green, and blue lines. If you see black lines, that means it's not a 90-degree angle. So if I were to just take a line tool and say, okay, I'm going to draw something down, and oh, there's a straight line, but it's not on axis. Even though if you get a certain angle, it may look straight to you, it's not, because it's not blue. So then we're going to start pushing in the faces of these stairs. And a normal stair tread's about 10 inches. So I'm gonna start pushing this one in, and then I'm going to type 10 inches. You'll notice down in the lower right hand corner where it says distance, I'm doing 10 inches. Enter. Then I can go above it and just, I'll get it so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to go above it with the push-pull tool, and I'm going to double click. And that's going to push them all into that height. And now you have one stair and everything else 10 inches. And then we're going to go up one stair, and because 10 inches was the last thing we did, we can keep double clicking and then work our way up to do the next stair, and then go up another stair and work your way up the stairs doing 10 inches at a time. And if you have a skyscraper, this could be very time consuming, and you may want to find a better way, but it's a quick, easy way to do fronts of buildings. So now we have a perfect staircase with the nice landing at the top for the entrance of the door. So now we're going to work on the top of this entrance. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to roughly pick the size. You'll notice the black line going from there, and then you'll notice there's a lot of detail there, but I'm going to start by just pulling this whole piece out, and then I'm going to just touch it to the bottom, because I know it overhangs all the way to the edge of the stairs. And now that I have this isn't the shape that I want, so I want to work on detail, and this is something that you can use for any roof, and we can actually erase some lines that are in the way now. This will work for any roof line. So I'm going to zoom in over here, and you'll notice this roof has like a couple of 90-degree angles. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to take my rectangle tool, and I'm going to just simply go to the bottom, draw a line across, and get a rough start. And then I'm going to start breaking it up. Add some detail that I know is on the building, and then erase the excess pieces that I don't want. And now I've made a rough shape, and if I push-pull this, it gives me the shape I want. But then you'd have to do the same thing on the front and then the same thing on the next side. So rather than using push-pull tool, we're going to use the follow me tool. And if you didn't put the follow me tool in the first tutorial that I gave you, you're going to find it in View Tool Palettes, Large Tool Set, and it looks like a curved arrow inside a curved push-pull tool. So I'm going to then use the Select tool. I'm going to double click on the top because we want to go all the way around this, but we don't want to go into the building, so I'm going to hold Shift, which gives you the plus minus next to the arrow. I'm going to click on the back line, and I'm going to click on the face. So now it just has the three lines that are selected that I'm going to go around. I'm going to click on the push-pull. Those lines go away, and now it's just waiting for what face do you want to push-pull around that area, and we want this face pulled around. And then you'll notice when I click it, it draws it all the way around. Sometimes when you use images, it's good to just get the color off of it because it's trying to stretch those images around in a way that you may not want. So once you get the images on, you can see that, okay, this isn't quite what I wanted. So I'm going to back it up. And sometimes you have to experiment and play around a little bit. So I'm going to change the shape of this just a little bit. I'm going to go out just a little bit further. And then I'm going to break it in half. And then I'm going to throw these lines in. I'm going to do a little sharper on the bottom because I think I messed up the bottom edge just a little bit. Erase what I don't need. I'm going to rotate to the top, select tool, triple click, hold shift, click on the back line, click on the face that I don't want, and then I'm going to use the follow me tool and I'm going to follow it around. And now I can go back and use the paint bucket tool just to change the color so I can see what it actually looks like. And this is a little more closely what this overhang looks like. Okay, and to show you on a bigger scale, the top of this building, I'll raise it up and you can see the top of this has a couple of different details. So I'm going to start with just the very top portion. I'm going to go to the same side, and oftentimes I find it easiest to work on an edge and work around, but I'm going to do it in air here, and it's a little tough. You can use the rectangle tool, but it tends to get stuck on a face. So I'm going to use the line tool, and I'm going to get it on the green axis, and sometimes you have to orbit around. I'm going to get it on the green axis. I'm going to hold shift and then click, and then I'm going to be on the blue axis, hold shift. You'll notice the line gets darker, and then click when I feel like I've got it, and then back on the green axis. So now I have a face that I can make the overhang. And this one's just a simple, I'm going to just rectangle this one out. There's no huge detail on this. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to triple click on the top. And then the only thing I don't want is the face, so I'm going to shift click to get rid of the face. And now I can go to the follow me tool, click it, and it will make the detail all the way around the top of the building. Now in this building it's got a roof line and then a flat roof, but there's actually a little bit of an overhang up top, so when people work up there it's almost like it's a railing all the way across. So I'm just going to pull that up. So now when you look at this, we're starting to get some good detail. So we have a decent roof, we have stairs, we have the overhang, and if we're to fix this to where it has the pillars, you just raise these to the height of the pillars and then you can start working on. I usually start with a rectangle and it will tell you when it's a square, and I'll just do one of these quickly. Golden section tells you it's a square, and then I'll draw a line from corner to corner because I want this middle point. So when I use the circle tool, and I usually just click C on the keyboard, it's a shortcut, click once on the midpoint, draw it to the size you want, and then erase all of the excess, and then you can pull that right up to the top. And then if you want it to look more like what it looks like, you can paint it. So from here we're starting to get this building to start actually looking like the building itself. So for our next video I'm going to work with how to do different roof shapes. So if you have roofs that aren't flat, sometimes when you have multi-level roof lines, they can be tricky. So lesson 3 I'll focus more on roof lines and detail work. But after today's lesson, hopefully you have the basic shape of your building with any stairs, windows, doors, have those things taken care of. And good luck, happy sketching.